Let's get a word on this and the other big stories of the day. Simon Danchuk, the former Labour MP, now a Reform UK member, is back with us. Good afternoon to you, Simon.
Good afternoon. Good to be with you.
And good to be with you as well. I mean, let's start with VE Day. Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, marking that day, stressing the importance of defence spending and safeguarding peace, citing Ukrainian soldiers in London's parade. Let's have a listen to his comments this morning.
On VE Day, 80 years ago, politicians of all parties and stripes understood that a people who'd sacrificed so much were owed a great debt. And the truth is, people today are too. After years of being buffeted around by insecurity and uncertainty, they are owed the same security, the same prosperity and peace of mind, a good home to live in, a well-paid job with strong rights at work, an NHS that's there for them when they need it. Build a nation that once again lives up to the promises made to that generation who fought for our values, our freedom and our security.
I wouldn't disagree with much of what he said there, Simon. Fairly reasonable stuff. But, you know, either way, whatever you think of Starmer, the overarching headline here is that it's still pretty darn crucial that we remember what VE Day is.
Yeah, and you're right to ask that question. What do we take from VE Day? And I think the first thing is to remember those that died fighting for Britain and put their lives on the line. I think that's crucially important that we don't forget about those. And I don't think there'd be a family in Britain that hadn't been impacted by that war, certainly at the time and subsequently. It's a very special occasion. I mean, victory in Europe was a fight against fascism. Yeah. And it was a fight against totalitarianism that gave Britain the opportunity to continue with free speech, continue with democracy, to continue with the way of life that we'd had up until that point. And that's why we should remember it as well. I have to take exception to Keir Starmer. I don't think he lives up to that legacy in many regards. And totalitarianism doesn't come just from right-wing, far-right politics like fascists. It comes from the left as well. Sure. And we are seeing today the death of free speech in Britain. We're seeing a very changed British culture. And what we're also seeing in Keir Starmer, I am sorry to say, is him draping himself in the Union Jack on a day like this in an attempt to try and curry favour with the British public. And I just don't think it works. It's almost as though he's exploiting VE Day to try and gain political capital. And I don't say that lightly, but I do believe that's the case. Yeah,
and it's interesting because it's not an irrelevant point or a mischievous point to raise that issue of free speech over here, set against the backdrop of, you know, there's our Prime Minister. I mean, his words, as I said at the beginning, his words were fine, but I don't think it came from a place where there is a sort of philosophical belief in full freedom, because we know this is a man that endorses the idea of coppers knocking on your door because of what you might have written on Facebook.
Well, exactly, and that's why he doesn't come across as genuine, and that's one of the reasons that they did so appallingly in the elections on the 1st of May. Yeah. And this is his sad attempt to try and regain some political clout from the situation. But I mean, people just see through it. I mean, he's in the worst possible place, and people don't buy into what he has to say today or any other day, really. I actually think, if we're talking about politics, Keir Starmer is a spent force in British politics. He's quite literally on his way out.